too.
Oh, damn, I'm mad.
Welcome, everybody. It is another edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Rock and Roll Matty Goldberg.
What's up, boys?
What's
Going
up?
on, yo?
What's going on? It's getting close to
Oh.
Christmas. We're only 2 weeks away.
We're
It
getting
was,
there.
It's
Matt?
sad. Like, this is the first Saturday that there's no football. Army, Navy, that's it. And it's sad. It's like,
Isn't the NFL going to Saturday now?
yeah, now they have 3 games this Saturday.
I'm
Well,
gonna be
Matt,
busy
you-
watching. I'm gonna be busy watching bowl games.
Loser.
Maddie, you and I got Ween in February, so don't
Yeah,
forget.
we're going to Wien.
I
2
booked a
nights.
hotel room today, even though we don't have
Oh,
tickets.
beautiful. You're
Yeah.
lucky. You're welcome to come, XFL Jim.
Is
Yeah,
it?
bring your
Where-
girl.
Where's it
Got
at?
2 beds. The
It's in
girl and I in
Delmar.
one bed, and you and Maddie in the other bed. How
Yeah,
about that?
We'll sleep toe to head.
Okay, we could do that.
We're gonna spoon, baby.
Just 69, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, let's get
My buddy Andy
wow.
Schultz had a joke when he first started comedy. He was like talking about like how he had to sleep in the bed with a guy, and they're like, "Let's sleep like toe to head." And he's like, "Why don't we just not fuck each other?" You know, that's a pretty funny joke.
That is a good one. That is
Yeah.
a good one.
But
Jim, what's
yeah,
going on
man.
with you?
So my life right now has been dominated by a picture of Nick Saban in his Ferrari.
What?
I don't know if you guys saw it. I'll link it into the chat,
Oh,
into the actual.
He's trying to
page.
like get to the young demographic.
I think he just doesn't give a fuck. So there's a
Does he?
picture of Nick Saban in his Ferrari, and he has like 4 styrofoam cups of what looks like they look like just when
Chow?
the rappers have lean.
lean?
Basically,
Oh, yeah.
And then
Dude,
if you look super closely at his driver's side door, you see like an infinite amount of bags of Red Man's chew tobacco.
I knew it. I
Oh
knew he
my
would chew.
God.
Yeah.
That's the
I-
first thing that came up when I typed in Nick Saban. Not like championships, not even Alabama, just Ferrari.
Yes,
he's
it's a
like
great
one-
picture. It's a great picture.
He's one of those guys. Like I remember a story like Kevin Costner wanted to go into the Celtics locker room like right after Field of Dreams, and Larry Bird didn't know who he was. And I don't think like Nick Saban knows any like pop culture reference, doesn't know about any movies, music,
Yeah.
just like eat, sleep, shits football.
I just posted the picture in it, Luke.
Yeah, that is.
Is it cooler than Baker
It's amazing.
Mayfield?
Ah,
What is Tiger, whatever the hell?
I want to see Adam Driver come out dressed as Ferrari, like he is in the movie. and
yes.
Just confront Saban. You're going to drive my car. I see you.
Never seen it.
Well,
Not
it just
my
came out. I don't even know if it's
not my
out
cup
yet.
of tea. I am really excited for the Von Erich movie. That looks good.
Yeah, that looks great. They
You know
all
what's
look
weird about the Von
weird,
Erich
though.
movie? It's like if you're younger, he didn't live it, but like seeing them, like the 4 of them going in the ring, it looks silly, but that's how it was, man. The 4 brothers, like I used to get those magazines, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and it was so much Von Erich brothers shit.
I like how like noble that name sounds, and they're just all rednecks from Texas. You know, like Von Erich. That
Yeah.
sounds like a very
sound-
like a cool like a World War
Well, no, his
one
father
baron or
his
something.
father
sounds
had
like-
a gimmick that he was a Nazi.
It sounds like a lot of old money.
Yeah,
Wait,
their
so it
father-
started out as a Nazi gimmick? Is it?
Yeah, their father was a wrestler. He was a bad guy, and he was a Nazi. And
Oh
that's
my
the
God.
Iron Claw.
I didn't know. Man, I
Yeah.
didn't put anything together.
And
from
then they
that.
were
That's
like
funny.
really good-looking kids, and like there's funny commercials where they like eating like they sponsor a pizza place in Texas. Like girls fucking love them. Like it was insane back then.
When is that movie coming out?
December 22nd.
Oh, okay, that's right around the
Yeah,
corner.
so it's
Good.
10 days.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll watch that when I'm in town.
Yeah.
We'll go see it.
Maybe I can get it for the movie theater in my backyard.
Oh yeah, get
Yeah,
your
look at me.
special Oscar consideration movie.
Yeah.
That'd be
But
sick.
should I start out with my rant or should we?
I don't know.
Maddie, it depends how heated you're feeling.
Are
I'm
you
pretty
pissed?
fucking mad. Yeah.
So I like go into the rant.
Well, I'm mad. Okay, first of all,
Well, what all are you mad at?
well, I'm mad at a lot of stuff. I'm not like I thought it was, like the Pat McAfee and Andy Reid thing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what happened, right?
The Kadarius Toney offsides. Yeah,
So,
it was hilarious.
so it's second down. The Chiefs have this play where they have a really good pass to our boy Travis Kelce.
It was a beautiful. It would have been play of the week.
It would have been one of the greatest NFL plays of all time because it would have won a big game against. They've been rivals for the past 4 or 5 years. They've been two of the best AFC.
And Kelsey's been trying to do that shit for like years. He's been
And he
trying to
threw
make
it
the rugby thing
perfectly.
happen.
It was perfect. It was safe. It worked. Like you saw, they pointed at It's amazing how good the cameras are because right away they had Josh Allen and he's just like on the bench, like, holy fuck, here we go again. But there was a flag on the play because Kadarius Toney, and everybody says it lined up. I would say like 12 inches offsides, a good John Holmes penis size offsides.
Yeah,
Or just a foot.
Yeah. So he was about a foot offside. It was blatant. They threw the flag before the play, even like when it started. So, they threw the flag. They had to. He was blatantly offside.
And you can check with officials too.
he
and they will
did.
tell you if
He
they're-
did check
Yeah.
with the officials.
No, he did not.
He
No,
did.
he didn't.
I saw
No, he
footage.
didn't.
I saw footage of him checking.
No.
He did not.
He looked at the officials, and then
I
went
bet
back.
I watched 40
watched-
different analysts talk about it, and they go, he did not check.
I saw him look at the official and then go back.
Or you better rewatch that, Jim.
It looked
Nobody
like
says that, Jimmy. You're the only
No,
one.
Jimmy, you're the only one that said that.
it
this
looked.
whole
It,
week.
all the footage I saw made it looked like he checked with the
Well,
official.
maybe you'll disagree with this rant I'm about to have.
I'm probably going to agree with you on the rant, but
Okay.
it looked like he checked. He might have checked quick, but it looked to me like he checked.
So Pat Mahomes, they have a penalty. It's a 5-yard penalty. The play doesn't happen. Second down, third down, fourth down, they just can't get it done. Bills win. He flips out. I thought he was first flipping out on Kadarius Toney because Toney, it's the second game he's lost for them this year. The first game of the year, you had one of the worst games I've ever seen. And no, he starts flipping out on the refs. He's like, it's a bullshit call. He says it's a fucking bad call. He goes up to Josh Allen after the game. He doesn't say good game. He goes, that's the worst fucking call I've ever seen. Which
That's
is
where
weird.
I flipped. I was like, whatever, it's fine. You can bitch at the refs all you want. When he came up to Josh Allen and was like, that call was what a fucking bitch move.
Especially like Josh Allen is just so happy to finally get a significant win this year. And then
Like, he doesn't
especially
give
win
a-
over Mahomes. And
He doesn't
So
give
then
a fuck. Like,
yeah,
Josh Allen doesn't care.
It gets worse too because now you go to usually I've seen guys flip out on the refs, and then when they have time to go and sit and take your clothes off or your uniform, you relax, you kind of compose, you don't want to say anything stupid. And like then you can even watch the replay and see that Kadarius Toney is absolutely offsides. And he still goes on the podium and he starts blaming the refs. And then he says the weirdest thing. He says, it had no impact on the play. And I'm like, football is like a military game. It's a game of formations. If you don't line up in the proper formation, the play doesn't count. Part of you being a team is to line up properly. How many times have you seen a big play where a guy there's not enough guys on the line or somebody shifted improperly? That's part of the game. Part of the game is for you to line up properly and know the fucking rules. And they didn't line up properly. And he won the Super Bowl last year on one of the shittiest calls ever.
Mm-hmm.
He's won games against the Jets this year on some of the shittiest calls ever. So everybody calls him out. They either call him out, they call out Kadarius Toney. They say he's being a baby. He was a baby, absolutely. Granted, they didn't get a call last week, but this was the right call.
You can't be Patrick Mahomes and like argue about the refs with the way the Chiefs have gotten the benefit of the doubt
Absolutely.
for like ever.
For the last 3 years, they're getting calls. They've been getting the most ridiculous calls for the last few years. So he starts freaking out, and it's like, what are you talking about? It didn't impact the play. How many times is somebody like you see this rinky dink like cornerback will touch a wide receiver on a sack. That there's no way the guy can throw the ball, and they're like, oh, off defensive holding. Here's a first down. Keep the drive going.
Yeah. I was a little surprised it wasn't like a dead ball. Like it wasn't, they didn't call it earlier. Like they let the play happen.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, they should have just killed the play, I think. But they didn't.
Yeah,
And it was a dead play. The flag
either way, it was a penalty.
Yeah. And everybody says it. Everybody. So all sports media is going after Patrick Mahomes, is going after Andy Reid. They're calling him a baby. They're saying they're also going after Kadarius Toney. They're saying he should, like, that's where the angst should be. Our boy Pat McAfee.
Your favorite
commentator?
Mr. who puts a thing before his show. Some of the stuff I say is going to offend you. You know, you can't handle this.
Wait, does he put that before the show?
Yes. This guy is supposed
Isn't
to
it
be
like Matt Rife is more controversial than Pat McAfee?
I would agree.
He did just have my head coach on there today. So
I think John Mulaney is more controversial than Pat McAfee.
I would say so. But so Pat McAfee, his take on it, because he can't ruffle any feathers. Mr. fucking tough guy, the voice of football.
The voice of the people.
The voice of the people. His take on it is, oh, Pat Mahomes is a great teammate. Like, instead of going after his teammate, you know, he's gonna like go after the refs to protect his teammates. And let me tell you something. Yeah, he had a meltdown, but he's an elite athlete. And the Bradys and the Mannings, they operate differently than you guys. You know, they're competitive motherfuckers and they want to win. So that's just him being a competitive dude out there.
I don't think anyone was like debating whether or not Pat Mahomes is a good athlete in that
instance. Or competitive. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Maddie's flabbergasted.
This is the guy that's supposed to be the voice of the fans. He is a fucking fence-sitting fucking loser. And again, he fools all these fucking morons because he puts on his jorts and he wears his cut-off stupid Penguins jersey. And he's like, I'm not corporate because I wear jorts and I wear sleeveless shirts to the office. But I'm not going to offend anybody or make any sort of controversial statements or take a shot at anybody because I'm a fucking pussy. He is the worst. He is absolute garbage. And he fools everybody because he curses a few times. He says a couple F-bombs. And he's got a guy on the show with a mullet, so like he's down with the people. You suck, Pat McAfee. How fucking dare you? You can't even you can't even say the truth. You're worried about Patrick Mahomes not liking you when everybody had to say what they had to say about the situation. And it's like, look, Pat, you're a good guy. Nothing have you done that's like out of character. This, you got to take the L on. You look like a fucking baby. That's all you have to say. But no, he's going to tell you like, oh, he's more competitive than you and me. Yeah, I'm 5'4". I wasn't born a fucking athlete. Excuse the fuck out of me. But Patrick Mahomes is better than me because he's an elite athlete. Fuck you.
Hey, Luke, in editing, can you put like epic speech music behind that?
Yeah, I should.
Like
definitely.
Am I wrong?
Music?
Right.
No, you're not. That's not.
What is this guy doing on television?
Get on your. Well, I mean, so many people watch him. I don't know why
Makes
or
the
how.
most money doing what we do.
The problem is like most people watch him and they don't care. He's sort of like background. I think a lot of ESPN is like background, and then once in a while they'll get a clip. Like I walked into the break room at work the other day, and the guy's like, "Oh my god, check out this Pat McAfee clip." And I'm like, dude, I'm on fucking break. I don't need to see your. I didn't say anything mean, but that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh god.
You just say, like, I'm good.
I'm trying to get in the state of, see the state of mind of people that are really into him. And what I see is like people that don't really like they don't follow things that closely.
Yeah,
He's just sort of pops into their screen once in a while.
he does
Yeah.
talk funny. He's got funny guy, like he's got like this good group of guys that are like so-called outsiders. They don't wear suits. One guy wears a cowboy hat. The other guy wears a mullet. But you watch other shows and like Rex Ryan will be like, Bill Belichick is nothing without Tom Brady. I've heard Mike Greenberg talk about the Jets. Like, I don't want to see Zach. What, like, guys have opinions. Like, you're paid to have opinions.
That's the funny thing, is because almost every one of these commentators that are big are famous because they just, and usually they're idiotic opinions too. They just feel the need to have opinions and loud opinions at all times, even if they're incorrect or not.
Like the guy from Texas. Who's the guy that everybody hates? He's a Dallas Cowboy guy.
Skip Bayless?
Yeah, so Skip Bayless takes shots at LeBron. He treats LeBron like LeBron is like a six man. And that's silly because LeBron is like a top 3 NBA player. I mean, LeBron is, like I remember in high school and he lived up to the hype and he's done everything they thought he would do and then some. Sure. And he's always like, blah, blah, blah. And I get like his job is to get under the skin of LeBron lovers. But like, I watched Shannon Sharp just destroy Kadarius Toney. Like, he's like, that's the problem. This guy has lost 2 games. You want to go after it. So, like, everybody has had opinions about this. And Stephen A. Smith was like, Patrick Mahomes, you embarrassed yourself. And like, he's as big as you can get. I don't understand how Pat McAfee gets away with not taking shots at anybody. And he's making the most
He's a
money.
rebel, Matty.
And that's the thing.
Matty, he's just cut from a different cloth. You wouldn't understand it.
He has everybody fooled because he's like, I tell it like it is. You're not going to handle my edginess. You young, you old guard can't handle like my young show. You're full of shit, buddy. You say nothing. You say absolutely nothing. It's your job to take a shot at Pat Mahomes because he was a bitch. He was a whining little bitch out there. And it's your job to take a shot at him like everybody else fucking did in sports media.
He's not sports media, Matty. He's one of the people.
Yeah, him and his insane contract. Yeah.
So, like, am I nuts?
The greatest trick Pat McAfee ever played on the world was pretending he had an opinion.
You're right. He does. It's like he fools people with his stupid outfits, and then he takes off his shirt in 30-degree weather, and that's like kind of his thing. But like, when I watch, I want to see like real takes.
No, it's funny that he is actually the least controversial person on there. Like, on the whole thing. I mean, even Max Kellerman was so dumb and would just say all these stupid opinions. And I don't think he's on there anymore. But like,
and that was the thing. It's like you have these Brady lovers, you have these Brady haters. He's gonna take the side of the Brady haters. I get it. It's part of the job. It's stupid.
That's why I love him.
But it's still better than a guy who won't take a shot at somebody that, like, the biggest thing this week in the NFL was the Chiefs-Bills game and the way Patrick Mahomes reacted. And granted, the refs have been bad this year, but that was a call that they absolutely got right and that they absolutely have to call.
No one's argued that call at all. No. Like, you see, even like
Chiefs
if it's
fans.
A bad pass interference call,
it was a good call.
There's always something where you can look the other way and, well, maybe, but this was like, oh my God, this is it's egregious.
I mean, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl on one of the worst calls of all time that basically gave them the game on a garbage pass interference or call that the ball was not even catchable, and it was such a gift call. Did he say anything that was a garbage call? When he beat the Jets this year, when Sauce Gardner got a call for like a stupid holding that was an interception that would have put the Jets in good position to win the game, did he complain?
No.
And for Pat McAfee,
I think I think the biggest story of this game, I'm surprised. I don't think I saw McAfee cover it.
Sure.
This is the first game the Chiefs lost this season where Taylor Swift was in attendance.
Oh,
Dude,
that is shocking too.
No,
That's
I
big.
think they lost
That's
to the
big.
Packers. She was at the Packers game.
Was she at the Packers one?
Yeah.
I
They're
didn't
not
realize she was at the
showing her
Packers.
as much.
I didn't realize she was at the Packers game. My bad.
took
Well, I
Then.
think her
some shots,
movie,
too.
her movie already came out or whatever. So
Yeah, she took some shots at football fans. She's like, I don't care what Chad or Brad has to say.
Chad or Brad, is that a typical sports fan?
Yeah,
name?
and way
Chad, Brad,
way
Thad.
to knock something that like your boyfriend does, like the loyal fans, you know?
Right.
Like we can't make fun of your little stupid girl twat fans that go to your shitty show. The Swifties. Sorry, I crossed the line there, I think.
No, that was good, Maddie.
No, Maddie, every like you just saying derogatory things against 13-year-old girls, that's acceptable.
It's fine.
Well, they're annoying fans, and you know, we don't need them in football. As Pat McAfee goes, welcome Swifties to football. This is the best fucking thing. You're a fucking shill loser. Unbelievable that this guy is the head of this industry. I mean, we're on the bottom.
Pat McAfee, come on Sports Hole, please.
I think he's going to have like this. He's going to put out, he's going to go through his 4-year contract, and then he's just. I think people will be done with him at some point. I think he'll always have enough fans to do his own thing. But as far as like being on a network and stuff again, I don't. It feels like such a fad to me.
I could see him going back to his own show, but he just I think just last year they bought and they might have built like a brand new studio in Indianapolis.
Yeah. I think he's gonna wear out his welcome because I just think like if you don't have any real opinions, you're not long for this business. You're really not. Like you eventually have to like be some sort of have some sort of takes. And not defend guys when they shouldn't be defended.
Yeah, you can't be everyone's friend. That's like when Howard Stern was great because he didn't want to be anybody's friend. And now he wants to be everybody's friend, and then nobody's heard anything about him in 15 years. So
I agree. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And Pat doesn't want to ruffle feathers. It's also like, I was talking to another guy. I'm like, the NFL Network has a show, Good Morning Football. And like they can't take a lot of shots at guys because they work for the NFL. And I understand that. And it's like a friendly show to promote the game. And there's things like they're not going to go after the refs because it's they're trying to push the game up, and you understand that. And it's like if you take a job there, that's what your job is to do. But Pat McAfee is trying to tell us that like he's got controversial opinions. He's going to be edgy. He's going to be this. And he's the exact opposite. He's just a dick sucker for all these guys.
What he does.
I don't know. Dick sucker sounds much funnier than
fence rider.
I haven't heard dick sucker.
Fence rider.
I
mean, I was just shocked because there's a video and it's like 15 minutes long. It's like, it's like Pat Mahomes freaks out. And I'm like, I wonder if McAfee's going to take a shot at it. And he did the opposite. He took a shot at the fans. He told us that we're not elite athletes, so we don't think like Pat Mahomes. So therefore, his outburst was because he's elite and he's competitive and we're not. What a dumb fucking take.
Yeah.
We've seen the Chiefs get calls for the last 3 years. Last week, granted, they might have got a pass interference wrong. They didn't get it. But this week, they got it absolutely right. And still, it's like you just take it. Or you go on the podium and you go, yeah, I overreacted and I'm sorry and I saw the play and he was offsides. But to say that, the penalty didn't affect the play, so that fucks it up. What are you talking about? Guys jump off sides all the time and that doesn't affect the play and they'll make a play. What are you supposed to do?
That was the call.
It was he's just never gonna have an opinion, I don't think, on anything like that, especially anything where he could not, he might have opinions on organizations or something like that, but I don't think he'll ever have the
not on a
stones
player,
to have
not on a
opinion on a player like that.
No.
Yeah.
Then why are we paying this guy all this money?
Because he has the audience, Matty.
That's
Somehow.
it.
I also noticed
Economics.
on YouTube, I left a negative comment on my burner account. It's Bowie. It's backstabbing Bowie. In case you want to know what my burner
Okay,
account.
well, you've
Good
just
name,
burned your
good name.
burner account.
You know what backstabbing Bowie is?
Is that a Baba Booey?
Yeah, because Stuttering John always goes backstabbing Bowie.
Maddie has like 3 lives: football, Bachelor, and
Stuttering John.
Stuttering John.
You know, it's funny. I was at my mom's birthday tonight, and my nephew in the car was like, he only likes football, Stuttering John, and my nephew was telling me that he created a Dabbleverse with his friends at school. Like
Oh my God.
he's
All
obsessed
right.
with Stuttering John. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had
It's
to go after
okay,
Pat.
Manny.
No.
Thank you for your thoughts. At least you took a side. Stepping away from football for a moment,
Yeah.
the other major news this week was Shohei Ohtani is now a Dodger.
What a
Yeah.
contract.
$700 million over 10 years, $68 million a year deferred, which he won't get. So he's only going to get paid $2 million a year until 2034 to 2043. He'll get paid $68 million a year plus
Jesus.
5% interest in the years in between. So those will be more. It'll be more. Yeah, it'll add a bunch more money to when he'll get paid. So apparently he had the same exact offer from the Giants too, and he chose the Dodgers.
Ooh.
Thank God.
Well, you must have liked Southern California. I mean, look, the guy's the
He's
best.
probably
player.
already got a home here, you know. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, by far he's the best player in baseball. But like you see, like even with a bad team, it doesn't chalk up wins. It's
well, he's
like
actually joining a good organization now
Yeah, but
that is
then you like
always
think,
in the playoff.
is he gonna pitch? Like, is with that contract? He blows out his arm and he won't be able to hit for a while. So like, do you
But
let
it
him
doesn't
pitch?
matter because with the deferment though, they can still pay anybody else now. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
Yeah,
essentially it's just $2 million a year that they don't have to worry about the rest until 10 years from now, and that's not gonna. Who cares? You know, like.
So what do you think, Luke? You're more of a baseball Dodger guy than I am. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if it was all like being paid straight up, that would sort of not allow them to pay other players, then that's a big risk because
yeah.
if he goes down, that's your best hitter and best pitcher going out of the game. So I don't know, but I love this.
I think it's kind of the best of both worlds contract for both him and the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, I think it's great.
Does it set a bad precedent for sports? Like, if he gets 70 million a year, somebody else is gonna in like another sport is gonna want.
It's always going to go up. It's better them than the owners. You know
that true. Also, like baseball, is like crazy compared to the other sports. Like baseball contracts are crazy compared to basketball, which is crazy compared to football. Like everything's crazy. Like football has like the least crazy out of everything, but yeah, baseball's insane with the contracts these players are making.
Well, he is gonna he's gonna make he's the best player. We'll see if the Dodgers can get over the hump, which they've gotten close. They haven't had a good playoff runs the last few years. I guess they won the COVID World Series. I count it. Some people are like, nah. I count it though. It's a World Series.
I count it. If everybody's playing in the same conditions, then
sure. The Lakers won the championship.
Yeah. Los Angeles owned COVID.
Yeah. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup, and the Lakers and the Dodgers won the World Series. So, I mean, look, as they say, I used to listen to New York sports radio when there was a big contract. You know what these guys would say? It's not my money.
Exactly. I don't know why anybody would get upset about it unless you like. I've heard people get upset about it that are just communists. They're basically like, that could be used to pay teachers or something. I'm like,
whatever. Entertainers
in the school systems, they suck.
Like, it wouldn't be used that way though. The guy would just use it for something else.
Exactly.
The bottom line of the world is that entertainers make a lot of money, and if you're an entertainer, you're lucky. Your market value, what somebody wants to pay you, is what your value is, and that's how the world works. It's like. Is he the most important person in the world? No, but entertainment makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's
He's
like
paid what he's worth.
It would just be going to an owner who's probably 10 times scuzzier than any player.
And
So
Sly Stallone used to make millions on shitty movies.
yeah,
Schwarzenegger, millions on shitty movies.
well,
Nobody bitches about those guys.
are you gonna bitch about Over the Top right now, Maddie?
No, but I'm sure if there was a shitty movie that one of those guys came out, Pat McAfee would be like, "It's a great fucking movie. Oh, they never know, everybody's killing it, but you know what? It's because he's such a good actor. The press doesn't understand it, but I do because I'm gonna kiss everybody's ass."
I used to punt.
Fucking loser.
Did he talk about Matt Ariza at all?
Who?
Pat McAfee. Is he
About who?
support his local brotherhood of punters?
No.
No.
So Matt Ariza
probably-
now, since I brought it up, might as well.
Yeah.
Matt Ariza, his civil lawsuit has now been dropped too. So now he's like clear of all
Matt
these charges.
Araiza, come on down to the XFL, baby.
By the way,
it's just funny that I mean, I think he'll get a total.
He'll get
real,
a pros. He'll get a.
by
Real
the way,
NFL.
there is a major XFL star killing it in the NFL. The kicker for the Cowboys,
Not XFL, Matty.
USFL.
There you go.
He has been lights out.
Was it? How many in a row is he at?
I don't know, but he's hitting like 60-yarders last night. Like
Hit a 69 and a 50.
yeah, like
59. Sorry, 59 and a 60.
yeah, like just drilling him. And he's a USFL guy, and they kind of discovered him. So I know that gets your dick hard, Jimmy.
That was where the first place he started kicking. He didn't kick in college or nothing.
I know, it's amazing. So he's the one standout star, like even bigger than your boy PJ Walker.
Actually, the Cowboys got because they had Kevontae Turpin as a returner for a little bit. He was a fucking Pro Bowler that first year.
There you go. Look how excited
the Cowboys are good at picking those guys out.
Hey, they got scouts.
Someone's gonna get Matt Ariza now that there was a video that showed the gang rape was consensual.
I thought you were just going to say there was.
I guess it's just a gang bang in that point.
I thought you were going to say there's a video that showed the gang bang, and I was like, "What?"
There is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
It's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone's seen it.
So what I'm gathering, because I first heard that he wasn't even there. Now he was a part of it, but it was consensual.
No, I think he wasn't even there. And then on top of that, the gang bang apparently it shows consensual. Like the woman was not objecting to what was going on at all.
The way I read it, it was he wasn't even there, and B, it was consensual.
Could you imagine? Like, it's not like you weren't even fucking there, right? And then everyone, because when that shit came out, there was all this. It seemed to be all this damning evidence.
Yeah,
and there was talking. They were dissecting text messages.
They were ready to
everything.
Burn him at stake.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, I'm not on top of your career and your dreams are crushed. Your whole character's been assassinated.
Well, look at Trevor Bauer.
Well, Trevor Bauer also has a proven record of being a weirdo too, but
that is true. But that one girl absolutely faked it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, on some
that
level,
one case.
That one case.
I don't know the other cases.
There were some other cases with him too, but as far as Matt Ariza goes, this is apparently an isolated incident.
We'll get him in the
non-incident.
NFL.
So
let Matt punt.
Let Matt punt.
I'm sure Pat McAfee will. Like the gangbang was great. How about a fucking hand for the gangbang?
He's like, I went over the footage, everybody. It was an A+.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it. Everyone had a good, safe time.
Yeah. He's such a scumbag.
Pitched a
How do you do a show like that and act like you're edgy? It makes me so fucking.
It is just hilarious, though. It's I mean, this dude's got a fucking 10-digit contract. I don't even.
And the thing is, when I'm in my poker Zoom and I'm with these guys, and they're all sports guys, they're all gamblers, they're all degenerates, and I'm like, Pat McAfee sucks, and they act like I fucking took a shot at Jesus. They're like, nah, man, he's fucking great, because they get fooled.
Yeah,
they get fooled by the fucking jorts. They get fooled by the fucking cutoff shirts. They get fooled because he curses. They get fooled because he doesn't have a desk where he's like a boring fucking, whatever, the usual sports.
It's the same way I fool people, Matty.
No, you're actually pretty knowledgeable, and you bring comedy and knowledge, and you do have takes. I
All
watch
right.
your shows all the time, by the way.
I'm nothing without takes.
So it was Upset City this weekend.
Yeah,
yeah.
fucking
In the
tell me about it.
NFL.
God damn it.
Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday, we had the Pats, 2-10 Pats over the Steelers, 4-8 Bears over the 9-3 Lions, the Jets over the Texans, Titans over the Dolphins.
Brutal.
You know, last night
Giants
was
beating the Packers. The Packers had a strong
Tommy
together.
DeVito, baby.
Tommy DeVito's that dude.
The pride of Illinois football.
Well, no, pride of Jersey, baby.
And the pride of Illinois.
Grew up like 10 minutes from Jersey. Like, did you see his agent?
Yes. Amazing.
Did you see the way
Well,
he
yeah,
worked?
his agent looked like he looked like a Sopranos extra. Jeez.
Yeah, he looked
Or
like
a
someone.
magician. I couldn't tell whether
He
he was
looked
a
like
gangster or a
someone-
magician.
He looked like someone dressing up with a cheap Sopranos like costume.
You know, this
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of slightly of Tebow mania, where like a guy is starting to win a bunch of games in a row with a bad team, and he's better than Tebow,
Does it not
But-
remind you of Josh Dobbs?
a little
Yeah.
better, but
Can he
Yeah.
win? How does he do in game 5?
Josh
Yeah.
Dobbs already lost his job.
Right.
Yeah.
But DeVito's getting better. Like, he's gotten better every week. Like,
It's growing
they
stronger.
lose the lead, a minute and a half to go. Not many quarterbacks can drive in a 2-minute drive and a tough win. He took him down for a field goal like nothing.
Well, when you deal with the mob on a weekly basis, NFL is really nothing.
See, that's the joke. They're like, yeah, somebody put a hit on the Packers or, like dropped the game. I mean, all this shit. It's fun. Like, to see his dad, to see his agent.
He's the most Italian person I've ever
Is
seen.
that like his brother there with him too? Like his dad
I
was
don't
trying
know,
to
but
kiss
they're all
his brother.
kissing
So his
each
brother's
other.
like, come
I
on,
think
man."
so.
Yeah.
Or did you see him kiss each other on the
Oh
cheek?
yeah, they're
Like,
just
Hell yeah.
kissing. Love seeing
good.
grown men smooching at the games.
so how long will he last? I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I know a lot of Giant fans are like, well, it's fun, but we'd rather lose for picks, and he's really not the future. And that sucks for him because it's kind of like enjoy this while it lasts, because they still might go out and get a quarterback or give the job back to Daniel Jones next year.
As someone
Well, I
who's
mean, at least he can solidify himself as a good backup.
Yeah.
So he can get some money, which is always good.
as someone whose team was like kind of riding backup quarterbacks for a while, especially when we had Fitzmagic, would you
Yeah.
find these guys that are like the combination of like having a good run and also just very fun and have a
Yeah.
good personality to root for?
It's awesome.
It's so fun to I just ride it out. If you're a
Yeah.
Giants fan, just ride this train out because this is a very fun spot right now.
And the thing
Yeah.
is, as long as you can make the playoffs and they're still mathematically alive, every week should be fun,
Exactly.
Yeah.
because they could make the playoffs.
So could the Bears.
I
Yeah,
know, it's
so
crazy.
the Bears are only like one game out, and
Yeah.
they're right now they would have the 5th pick in the draft, but they're only like one game out of the wild card.
I
spot.
think it's fun they added the extra playoff team. I mean, it's like it's fun to see all these teams in the hunt, and it's fun to see where it's like if this team loses and this team wins and this team does this, you got a shot. So it's like it keeps more games more competitive. It sucks like 3 weeks. It used to be like the last 3 weeks of the season, there was like 4 games that meant something, and now you're getting like 10.
So so the Bears blew up the Lions.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Jim, because you've talked about Miami being like a gatekeeping team, whereas if you beat them, you're pretty good. But the Lions, it's indiscriminate who they'll lose to.
It's weird.
It's
Their defense is falling apart, and I think
Yeah.
when their defense is falling apart, that it puts more pressure on the offense,
yeah.
because the offense felt like they didn't have to score every time, and I think now they feel like they do, and they
Mhm.
play a little differently, and they're playing from behind in all these games for the most part. They're getting so behind because the defense has just been awful, and
Well, they did a good job of improving the defense, but it's still
Yeah.
not there. No matter how
No.
much you want it to be that kind of magical season for the Lions.
Yeah.
It's probably just not going to happen. But they're still moving in the right direction, no matter what happens the rest of the season. Hopefully, they can get to.
I mean, they
10
will win their
wins.
division. I think this will
I
kill them.
hope, yeah, but
Last game, I mean, the Vikings. I think we'll probably go 500. Now they're gonna put the reins to Nick Mullen. Who knows how good Nick Mullen. He's had a couple decent starts for a couple teams. He's had his moments, but like you don't really know. But getting Jefferson back helps. But the Lions should win that division.
Only by default at this point.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm a little worried about Jim's Fish because for a moment
God, I
I'm
was
like,
worried.
this is the year. This is the year that they can fucking win.
Matty, I never once thought it was the year.
Well, I'm saying just because the Chiefs aren't very good, the Bills aren't very good, the Jaguars haven't taken that next step. Like this is their shot. That the Bengals don't have Burrow. This is their shot to really make it to the Super Bowl, and they fucked it up. I mean, that was a really bad loss last night.
That was the worst offensive performance I've seen in like all year.
And I just don't believe in Tua. I really don't.
I still have the same opinion of Tua as I've had for like the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I think he's a middle tier quarterback in the NFL. I think he's fine. I think he's decent, but he's not going to he won't. I don't know if very seldom there's maybe like, I would say 2 games a year that he'll be able to win for you. Yeah. More often than not, he will not win you a game.
He's not going to win the tough games
I give him 1, maybe 2 a year that he could win as a tough game.
They beat the shit out of bad teams, and then against good teams, they just can't win. And then it's like last night was a game where, any given night, another team brings their A game, and then you got to find the way to win. And because he didn't find the way to win, it was a shitty game for me. And they really did nothing when Tyreek Hill was hurt. So Tyreek Hill got hurt in the first quarter, didn't come back till the third quarter, and the offense was just awful until he came back.
Awful, which is mind blowing with how many weapons we're supposed to have.
Tyreek is the.
I get that Tyreek is like the most important player on the team.
Yeah,
but even without him, you should have enough weapons that you could do something.
In my opinion, he's the MVP of the NFL.
And I get that the offensive line is like super banged up for the Dolphins. I understand that.
But you got to win. You
gotta win.
You got to win on a team that should be elite.
When you have the Titans doing special teams and defense and offensive fuck ups like they did in the third quarter, you got to win that game.
You're up by 14 with 5 minutes to go.
The only issue is, like I said, they couldn't do anything offensively all game. It had to be won by the special teams and defense.
And I will say, Monday night next year, I love the 2 games. It's so fun. I mean, there were 2 great games that came down to the last play.
Matty, you say that now, but what if there's 2 shit games?
It's 2 football games Monday night.
What if there's 2 games just like the Raiders Vikings?
Well, I mean, that's like a pitcher's duel. But I mean,
that was like a Minnesota Iowa game.
I've never seen an NFL game like that. Not even in like blizzard, torrential rainstorm.
Aiden O'Connell is bringing the Big Ten West to the pros, baby. Let's keep it going.
It really is.
And DeVito.
Dude, Tommy DeVito is good, man. He is electric.
All right, no more Guido talk right now. Okay. Talking speaking of great backups, we had Jake Browning doing it again over the Colts.
Man.
Yep.
Joe Flacco.
AJ McCarron signing too.
Hey, I don't understand this. Joe Flacco has a really good game. They don't really have a starting quarterback. You think like he's gonna play, and they put him back on the practice squad. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So he's kind of a free agent. Like he could go to another team. Like why would they do that? He had 2 really good games in a row.
I don't know. Maybe they're just looking for
I give him a chance to have a decent year, maybe win a playoff game with Flacco. I don't understand why they would put him back on the practice squad.
Well, he was named the starter for the rest of the season. Also,
why put him on the practice squad? Is it like something to do with his contract or
something? They're gonna offer him a contract.
That's odd.
Yeah.
We had the Jets over the Texans. CJ Stroud went out in the protocol, and our boy that we always count on every week to deliver, Zach Wilson, over 300 yards.
Great game. Yep.
You know, it's funny. The Jets D is so good. if they had an offense, they would. I mean, they kill quarterbacks. They destroy quarterbacks.
I also think like this kind of shows how good CJ Stroud is with how bad they looked without him. And Tank Dell, to be fair, but still.
And
the Tank Dell's gonna hurt.
Probably the biggest impacted game of the week was the Cowboys stomping the shit out of the Eagles. This is like a couple weeks in a row for Hurts looking piss poor after Bosa said we solved Hurts.
Though
it wasn't even just him.
I'm gonna cut the Eagles a break. I've never seen a schedule run like this. Like I've never seen a tougher schedule run in the last 4 games. Like they played 4 really, really good teams in a row. I mean, that's not easy. Not to mention on the road,
the Super Bowl. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, they played the Chiefs at Kansas City, home versus Buffalo, home versus San Francisco, which is arguably the best team in the NFC, home versus Dallas, which is a top 3, top 4 NFC, top 4 team probably in the NFL. So they probably played 4 top 8 teams, because I do believe Buffalo, even though they've shoot themselves in the foot, still have a lot of talent. They played 4 of the best teams in a row. And I think they have a tough game this week too. Like it's one of the most brutal schedules I've ever seen.
Well, still you want to win when you're playing the top dogs, though. That's
I know, but they split. They went 2-2.
Yeah, but San Francisco, I think, was the one where
that was that one hurt more.
Yeah.
Most people were curious about. I mean,
sure.
Cowboys,
Yeah, Matty, they play Seattle this week.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on the Eagles. I just think it's been a really, really tough stretch.
You don't think Hurts has been exposed?
No, I think he's hurt is what he is.
A game with that many fumbles, I kind of like will toss out a little bit.
All right.
It's hard. I mean, they barely beat Dallas at home. You knew Dallas was like, okay, when they come here, we're going to kick their ass. Dallas had
Cowboys still undefeated at home this year.
And they have 4 extra days to rest.
The Dolphins were
a lot. So, they were coming in fresh. Eagles coming off 3 emotionally tough games, like 3 games that are emotional tough. Very hard to get up for the 4th.
All right. Justin Herbert done for the year.
Sucks.
So is Staley.
Surgery. I mean,
bye Staley. You stunk.
I mean, that was. I'm surprised Staley. They're just letting him coach the rest of the year.
Yeah,
for some reason. But
I just think that the Chargers just weirdly don't fire coaches mid-season.
Well, I think he's gone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Maybe they just enjoy having him there, so they'll just keep losing at this point. So they get some picks. Coming up this week, what are you guys looking forward to? We got Broncos at Lions, Jets at Dolphins, Ravens v Jags, Eagles Seahawks.
Jags is going to be good. I'm also looking forward to the football on Saturday and the bowl games. Like Jim, maybe you want.
I'm excited for them bowl games, baby.
The first few bowl games. If you want to.
What bowl games are starting this week, Joe?
Okay, so this weekend in particular, I'm excited to see how Jacksonville State looks in a bowl game.
That's Rich Rod's team?
Yeah, that's Rich Rod's team.
Okay.
And then Cal, Texas Tech, and New Mexico State, Fresno State for this weekend. That's this Saturday. It's bowl season never starts off with a bang.
Well, yeah, it's usually the lower teams.
The worst one of the entire season, though, I think, is Mondays. It's Western Kentucky, Old Dominion. That game is shit. And then it's always fun, like, trying to figure out who's going to win these games because there's so many coaches leaving, and especially now with the transfer portal going crazy.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's so hard to keep track of everything. Like, I saw on the notes, fucking Riley Leonard out at Duke, but they're playing in a bowl game, too. Their head coach is gone. Their star quarterback's gone.
Right. God, it just doesn't ring the same as when it used to before people started opting out.
And they're playing they're playing Troy.
So Jim, don't you think gambling is really hard?
One sec though, in the Birmingham Bowl where Duke versus Troy, both head coaches are gone.
I know.
And the quarterback for Duke is gone. So it's crazy trying to figure
Troy's coach go?
Troy's coach is down to Tulane. Tulane's coach is to Houston. Willie
Don't
Fritz
you
from
think
Tulane
like
is at
what
Houston.
sucks about betting on bowl games is you
It's
really
crazy.
you don't know, like, let's say there's a game in San Diego, and let's say a lot of the guys want to go to the zoo and the Gaslamp Dance. It kind of comes down to who partied the least. And you don't know that. You're not getting that information. And then
Oh.
you're also not knowing who's going to play and who's not going to play. I mean, the ball games, it sucks because
It's a crapshoot.
it used to be like where it's your last game and you're going out with a fucking bang. And now it's like, well, I don't want to get hurt.
Well, that's why you got to figure like the betting bowl games is completely different than betting regular games because you have to figure the teams where a lot of the guys probably aren't going pro that are going to play and going to want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Those games matter. And then like you have James Madison versus Air Force. Originally, you'd want to be all over James Madison. They don't have their quarterback now and their head coach is gone.
Crazy. It's kind of silly if you ask me.
It's crazy.
They're fun to watch, but like I remember a few years ago, I was with Luke and Michigan. I mean, it was Pitt versus Michigan State, and you should have Kenneth Walker versus Kenny Pickett.
Oh yeah,
and you got neither one of those guys.
Yeah.
No. Other portal news: Ohio State's Trayanum is now going to Kentucky. He was like the number 2 back.
Just wait till McCord comes to Nebraska, baby.
You think that's going to happen?
We're going to sign McCord and Raiola, baby.
That
Make
actually
it happen.
could be a good bet for you guys because he's not going to demand like some other hotshot quarterback. You know, I think he's going to fly under the radar wherever he goes.
I've seen Nebraska fans online saying we're going to get McCord and Dylan Raiola.
Why would you want to get 2?
I don't know. I mean, I guess more the
where's
merrier.
Raiola was the number 1.
He is the number 1 2024 recruit.
So he might be.
He's high school. He committed to Georgia back in like May, but he reopened and he's visiting Nebraska next week.
Oh,
so people are really getting hype on the Raiola train.
Warren Buffett's got to open that shit up.
Yeah, get that checkbook out.
Yeah.
Matt Rule says you got to pay about $2 mil.
1 to 2 million in the portal for a
good one.
What was he saying on McAfee?
He was just talking about like that interview and then kind of his approach to NIL and what they can do because I like the school and the coaches can't talk about any of that stuff.
Well, it's cool if you get a quarterback, but it's also cool if you don't.
I like the rules, but then the rules are kind of bad, but then they're good. So both sides I understand. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to make any opinions. You know, I understand why Alabama got in, but I also think Florida State got screwed over. But Alabama deserves to be in there. So like, there's good arguments on both sides. It's good for the game.
Yeah, baby.
So one thing I think, you know how people are like, where were you when Kennedy got shot? And then our generation was like, where were you when 9/11 happened? And now this generation could be like, where were you when the Lakers won the in-season NBA Cup?
Yes.
Did anybody care about the LA?
It did. They actually did.
I think it got. You go ahead, Luke.
The in-season tournament title game was the most watched regular season non-Christmas Day game on any network in 5+ years. Audience peaked at over 5,600,000 viewers for Lakers Pacer game. So
there was a couple good games in the tournament.
It did generate some. It generated eyes, and it was a good way to get LeBron a little something more meaningful than who knows where they'll be at in the playoffs. You know,
it was very fun to see LeBron like legitimately trying middle of the season.
Yeah, right. I mean, the homie's still putting up like triple doubles. I mean, he's 38. He's insane.
Because usually, like this time of year, he's like doing the load management thing and everything.
It was really funny too because LeBron James said on like it was Doc Rivers' podcast or something that. The only bad thing he puts in his body is wine. And Doc Rivers said, like, Larry Bird, the only thing he would do is stop drinking Miller Lite during the playoffs. Like, that was his big thing, was just giving up Miller Lite for
that's hard to give
2
up.
months.
The great taste of Miller Lite.
He's just pounded beer all season, you know. Like,
yeah, he was one of a kind.
It's no wonder why these guys were all done by the time they're like 33. It was like...
Yeah, it was a different time.
Different times.
What about the historic run that your Pistons are on right now?
Oh my God. What is it even up to? Like, is 20? It at 20 games?
It's 20.
I'm furious because the Pistons were always like man, I mean, they've had 3 championships in my lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, the Tigers have had 1, and I was so young I
84.
couldn't even remember it.
Mhm.
The Red Wings are great, but I'm not a huge hockey fan.
They've had about 4 or 5.
You know,
would you say?
Lions have never won, but the
No.
Pistons have like been good teams. Bill Davidson, who ran who owned them forever, was just a fantastic owner. And
Do they still play in the Palace or no?
no, they're at the Little Caesars Arena, I think now.
Mm,
I think
think
they
so.
share it with the Wings, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it. There's no more Joe Louis Arena.
But it's like it might Joe Louis might still be there, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
They're only 6 games away from tying the record.
Oh,
How's
God.
Cunningham doing? He's
It's
never.
I mean, he's fine. He's like their lone bright spot. They have
Yeah.
the guy they got out of this draft this year is gonna be good, but he's just 19 and he's awesome at defense, but still struggling with shooting.
Yeah, it takes a while.
But it's sad because like we were in the lottery together with Orlando, and now Orlando is like winning a bunch of games and doing well. And now even Houston, who we had like we were lottery buddies with for a few years in a row too, is like winning games and possibly making the playoffs because they have Udoka or whatever his name is, the old Boston guy who boned his
Ime Udoka.
Oh, he's the coach now?
Yeah, he's coaching Houston now, and they're doing. It's
Yeah.
just like who do we have? We have Monty Williams coaching the team now, who got fired out of
Yeah.
the Suns, and
Who has
I
like the
felt like
worst
he
worst press
underachieved.
conferences ever.
yeah, and the guy that used to coach the Toronto is like,
Nick.
no, the
Something.
one before him that they fired to bring in Nurse.
Okay.
But he was coaching them before, and then they moved him to president or something. And it's like, what the fuck is going? Get rid of all these guys. Find some younger dude. Don't rehash these clowns. Find a young guy that's coming up in college or something, or an assistant sitting somewhere, and fucking do something different because this is bullshit. I'm pissed. Yeah, it's terrible. You know what? The Spurs are on to like 17 in a row.
Theirs
losses,
is crazy too.
and they got the fucking once in a generation talent on their
It
team.
seems like that Holmgren's doing pretty good for OKC.
Holmgren's great. I mean, he was injured last year, but he might even end up winning Rookie of the Year. Everybody
How's the
wants it to be
kid Miller
Wembayama,
doing?
but
How's the kid Miller from Alabama? Is he doing good?
what team did he even end up on?
Hornets.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about him at
Yeah.
all. So I don't know. I've been, it still takes me a little while to get into the NBA.
Yeah, I wait till after the NFL, and then I get really into college and the NBA and hockey. But until the NFL and the Major League Baseball's over, like I got to deal with football.
It's
And
all
that
football,
idiot-
baby.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
idiot Pat
NBA, a lot of NBA regular seasons, quite honestly, are unwatchable too. Like they
Yeah.
just don't put in that kind of effort until later in the year. So when shit means something, and fuck, I don't know. Now I'm all pissed.
Yeah, you brought up the Pistons.
So we had John
History in
Morant,
the making.
our the moral arbiter of our times, John Morant, was in court today, and so he got in a fight with a teenager amongst his other troubles. He got in a fight with a teenager. The family's suing
Sounds about right.
because he said that the teenager threw a basketball at him during a pickup game, and then he punched him first for self-defense, and he basically told the court the basketball was a lethal weapon. It was just,
That sounds like Stuttering John type lawsuit.
The exact exchange.
I think the kid's gonna win this
Yeah.
lawsuit, even though he probably
I
definitely
mean, basketball's
instigated
not
it.
a weapon. Let's come on.
No,
exact-
dude, I'm like, man, you get paid through the roof. You gotta like surround yourself with some good people and make better decisions.
I agree with that. I will defend him in one thing. I know it sounded like Pat McAfee, but he's only like 22. He's a kid. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know my asshole from my elbow. Like he's a young kid and he's probably going through identity stuff. And it's like hopefully he outgrows it because he's obviously blessed with this incredible talent. But
yeah.
when I was 22, I didn't know my asshole from my elbow.
Do you know?
Sometimes. I
All
poop at
right.
my elbow sometimes.
Oh wow, that's a new one. Okay, guys, that's all I got. Anything we missed on my end?
Nah, just Pat McAfee is a bitch. His
Pat
show
McAfee's a bitch.
sucks. His show stinks. He shouldn't be for what he gets paid. Some guys are worth it. Probably Otani is worth the money. Pat McAfee certainly is not. Pat, start like you're the main football guy. You're the big cheese. Grow a fucking pair.
And
All
I'm gonna cream my pants if we get Dylan Raiola.
That would be awesome.
The
Nebraska
what's
needs to
it called?
become formidable again. If Texas can become formidable again, I think Nebraska can.
They do
Yes.
deserve to be good again.
Well, Texas has way more freaking resources, but Nebraska was always great growing up. So
I miss it.
yeah.
And by miss it, I mean I want to see it because I was barely alive.
Yeah, because you missed you did miss it.
I
with-
saw
I've been
it all,
alive
too.
for the worst era of Nebraska football.
But you were around for
Maddie, I was 1 year old.
the Donica Sue, right? He was pretty good.
Yeah. I was there for Indomitian suit. That was 2009 was like one of the best years of my life for that run.
All right. Well, fingers crossed for Raiola. That's yeah, his uncle used to play on the Lions. Raiola.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was an ex-Husker too.
And is this kid's dad, is Dylan's dad a former Husker too?
No, his uncle played on the offensive line. I think he won the Remington Award one year at Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
But he's the offensive line coach right now.
Did Dylan Raiola's dad play ball too somewhere or not?
I'm not sure. Dominic Raiola?
Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. He played for the Lions. That's the one.
That's his dad?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought that was his uncle.
I think that's his.
And he should go to Ann Arbor and go to Michigan then.
Right here.
All right.
I'm sure Michigan's got like 5 quarterbacks ready to rock.
Well, I don't know. Dante Moore's visiting this weekend. The guy from.
Oh, I like that.
Well, he was a
Him and
5-star. He was
Harbaugh.
at UCLA this week.
And he's from Michigan, right?
Yeah, he's from Detroit. Yeah, but
Yeah,
they got another guy from Detroit coming in. Too. It's great. And then there's they're doing.
Yeah, I don't worry about big programs like that. They always
Yeah.
recycle their big cheese guys.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. All right, guys. That's it. That'll do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel now.
Do it.
Do it now. Yes. You can see Maddie and his beautiful face and Jim and his beautiful mustache and me and my hat. And we'll see you guys next week for another edition of the Sports Hole. Ciao.